I will never spend my Bitcoin right now until it raises to where I think it needs to be. Remember that number, 100 million. I firmly bet my life that not in my lifetime, but maybe in my children's lifetime, that one Bitcoin today that's worth 40,000 is gonna be worth about $100 million. So what do? I buy and stack for my kids. You can stack for your future.
You. I know that you all have been listening all week, and my husband and I have been traveling all around the country trying to educate our community on what we need to do, how we need to move, and really just making sure that everyone has the right information so that they can make the right decisions for themselves and their families. And it just seems like the deeper we get into this space, I am almost screaming at the top of my voice to make sure that you're listening, that your family is listening, and that any and everyone that you love starts to take a real serious look at this space. Because, ladies and gentlemen, it is happening. There has not been a day this week that I've been on the road that I have not gotten a call from a huge company that is beginning to implement cryptocurrency into their everyday life or their company's life. And so I will tell you right now, as it relates to educating our community, educating those who need to have this information the most, I am not turning down any type of opportunities to educate. So I say this all the time. I'm turning nothing down except my collar. And so I am here, I am open, I am ready and available. And just again, so thankful and grateful to Mr. Smiley for allowing us to have this time together to educate you on the new money things that are coming down the pipe. So today we're going to talk about some news, and we're really going to get into what you need to do to get started. If, for those of you that are already started, what your options might be, because it is starting to get serious. 25,000 people are on the streets of Miami right now that have come from all over the world to learn about what is moving forward in the Bitcoin space, because these people are already in Bitcoin, but they're trying to figure out how the industries are moving and what is happening. And today I will share with you that a phone call that I got today from a basketball company that is getting ready to start basketball tournaments. They're going to pay their basketball athletes or their personalities, they're going to pay them in cryptocurrency, but they have to learn about what this cryptocurrency means, how they should go about spending it if after they get it, how they then turn it back into cash and all those things. And so I'm just really excited about having the opportunity to even partake in that. You know, I really keep likening this situation where we're at right now to the internet, where several people were telling or forecasting that there would be small computers in the hands of every person in this United States, in the world for that matter, and everyone thought that was impossible. But right now today, every single one of us carry these small computers called a cell phone in our hand, and no matter whether we're in a third world country or right here in the United States, cell phones are everywhere. And I am telling you, ladies and gentlemen, money is changing. And I'm going to make sure today that I give you a couple of articles that let you know how massive things are moving. And I'm going to ensure moving forward today that you all have a really good understanding of what some of the billionaires are saying that are at the Miami 2022 conference. And these aren't people that have always been advocates for Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. They have been averse to cryptocurrency at some point in time. And I'm also going to share with you a couple of the phone calls that I've gotten this week, because behind the scenes, ladies and gentlemen, cryptocurrency and Bitcoin is being built out in these different companies. And this means we're at the very beginning of a revolution, a digital financial revolution. And that is why we're going on tour to share that information as well. But before I go on tour this year, you all are going to have some information so that you can do what you need to do to get your families out and educated, no matter where you are in the United States. I'm coming to a hood near you so that I can educate our community, because we've got to act expeditiously as we figure out how to start small and continue to stack. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, when we come forward, we're going to get a small cryptocurrency market report just so you can hear what's going on with Bitcoin. And then we're going to talk about the crypto scoop. I've got a couple of articles that you need to hear about today. And then last but not least, we will be talking about how to get started if you haven't already. And if you've already started, what you need to be thinking about as it relates to inflation and some of the things that are happening. So when we come forward, we'll get going on our market report. This is KBLA Talk 1580. All right, and here we are with our market report. So this is Friday, April the 8th. And basically, the price of Bitcoin and all the other major digital assets are actually stabilizing right now as the buyers return from the sidelines. So a lot of people ask me most times, what moves the market? What makes Bitcoin go up and down? Well, none of us have crystal balls, but what we do know is we can look at history, we can look at current events and things that are going on. And those different things make people either confident about the Bitcoin market or possibly scared about what maybe the government is going to do as it relates to regulation and things of that sort. But we do know that coming into Bitcoin 2022, which I told you all yesterday was the biggest Bitcoin conference in the world, which is going on right now as we speak in Miami. People are just kind of waiting to see what the industry is going to do. What are people talking about? What directions are things going? And so again, those people are returning from the sidelines that have been kind of waiting to see what the SEC or what the government was going to do. But what is noteworthy today is the SEC has decided to approve a BTC futures ETF. And it was filed under the Securities Exchange Act of 1933, which renews hope for spot ETF, because people didn't really know what the SEC was going to rule. And they were waiting around to kind of see if they should participate in these Bitcoin futures. And because it has gone in the favor of the Bitcoin futures, institutional money is coming off the sidelines and starting to get back into the space. But even though that has happened, Bitcoin has pretty much just been going and trading in a tight range. And right now it's what we call consolidating at about 43,500. And remember, because I say 43,500, you don't need that much to buy Bitcoin. You can buy fractional parts of Bitcoin, which are called Satoshis. So you can take $43, you can take $6, you can take whatever you need to get started. But one of the things that will persist over this weekend is if these investors weigh in on what the Feds have said about the macroeconomic factors, meaning they're not really sure of how they're going to regulate. And we're saying macro because it's the bigger picture of how they're going to regulate. We don't know which entities are going to come in and say, we're regulating this part of cryptocurrency or that part of cryptocurrency. But what is clear is there's a lot of work that has to be done by a lot of different agencies, because there's all these different coins that do all these different things. And right now Bitcoin is being listed as property. And so if you were to get some of that property, there's not a lot of things that need to be done other than you finding an exchange that you can work with and doing your KYC and all of those things. And so I believe that the institutional investors, because this ETF was just decided and approved, there's just one of them, and I'm not going to name them because I really don't want you all right now jumping into ETFs and things of that sort until you really understand the foundations of Bitcoin. But you can do your own research, and if you're in the Virtual Underground Railroad, I'm going to post the name of the ETF, the Bitcoin ETF, so you'll have that information there in case you're interested. And again, getting involved in the ETF gives you exposure to Bitcoin, but it doesn't give you the actual asset. And I say asset, I always call it an asset, but they deemed it property, so it doesn't give you access to that thing called Bitcoin. It gives you just exposure through these ETFs and different things. And these BTC, which is future, BTC is the abbreviation for Bitcoin. So anytime you see BTC, that is Bitcoin. And so we want to make sure that you're understanding that. So again, over the last 24 hours, Bitcoin has been trading in a tight range and is now about 43.5. And as the indicator suggests, we're not out of the woods. So what I do want to help our community do is brace ourselves in case there's a further downside over this weekend. And again, we're not worried about the price dropping, because when we know that Bitcoin is dropping, it is our intention to purchase more Satoshis, because the lower the price of Bitcoin, the more Satoshis you are able to get. So the same $6 that I bought Bitcoin with yesterday will buy me more over the weekend. If the price of Bitcoin drops, I'll just have more. And so I'll just continue to dollar cost average. So, but we always want to make sure that you're bracing yourself and understanding, because the price of Bitcoin falls, you're not just running away and trying to sell and do all those things, because that is not the mindset we need to have in this space. The funding rates are slightly negative on most of the retail exchanges, implying that shorts are currently more aggressive in their views than longs. And so basically what people are anticipating is that the price of Bitcoin will fall. Again, good for us. Not for those of us who like to buy when the price is going high, but for those of us that like to buy things on sale. And when the price of Bitcoin falls, in my opinion, Bitcoin is on sale. And so I love sale. I love a good sale. So, but if Bitcoin does not go to the downside and we're not able to get Bitcoin at a discount, and if it moves all the way up, it's most likely, just based on the charts, that it's going to go to about 37.6 before the current bullish price structure is invalidated. And so we just need to know that either way, our goal is to be stacking Satoshis. So again, I am not a financial advisor providing financial advice. So only invest what you can afford to lose. And I will also say that if Bitcoin drops and takes any dips, that I'll probably do the $6 daily cost average that we usually do, but I'll probably do an additional couple of dollars as well, because I need to stack as many Satoshis as I can before this price goes way up. And not that it'll get so out of control that we won't be able to participate, but we won't be able to have as much with the price going up. So we need to take advantage of what's happening right now. So that is where we are on the market report. If you're wanting to hear anything about Ethereum or Solana or any of these other altcoins, again, an altcoin is anything alternative to Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is the godfather are the grandfather of all cryptocurrencies. So if you want to see about any of those other coins, you can go into our virtual Underground Railroad, and I share that information freely. I may even answer some questions about some of those coins in the virtual Underground Railroad, but we are strictly Bitcoin educating for this community on purpose, because we want you all to know what is most critically important, and making sure that you're getting in here and making this happen for yourself and your family before some of these other communities, before some of these other institutions, before some of these other companies. So I'm going to pause really quickly just to share who's got in contact with me this week, or who I may have talked to over this last week as it relates to cryptocurrency and our ability to be ahead of this crypto curve and learn and really take advantage of what's before us. So, one of the first calls that I got this week was from Chase Bank, someone that works for Chase Bank. And they were sharing with me that inside of Chase, there is a whole cryptocurrency department. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't take this lightly at all, because Mr. Jamie Dimon, who has said over and over again that if he caught his employees doing Bitcoin, they would be fired. So he's gone from that in 2017 to having a whole department fueled by Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, trying to learn and get in the right place so that he does not suffer the loss of how money is changing. And that's really critical. There's a basketball company, as I stated a little bit earlier, that gave me a call. They're looking at how they could possibly give their players Bitcoin as opposed to fiat dollars. But as I was just really looking around and trying to see what I could share with you all today, just to make sure that you were getting the right information, I came across Bank of America. And this happens to be something from our crypto scoop, because I want to share this. I really, really want to share how incredible the space that you're either in or you're about to be in is going to work. Before I talk about Bank of America, if Bank of America decides to be the custodian of your Bitcoin, I would say to you, ladies and gentlemen, that it would be something that I would stay away from, especially right now as things are new and people are learning about Bitcoin and custody and having your own wallet and holding it for yourself. I would just suggest that you don't allow Bank of America to keep it for you. But on Friday, today, ladies and gentlemen, Bank of America's chief investment strategy said on a weekly financial note to his clients in the United States that we are headed into a recession. Now, I have been saying since last April, we are in a camouflage recession. But this Bank of America financial analyst just announced that to all of the Bank of America clients. And he basically said that cryptocurrencies could outperform bonds and stocks. And what we've been talking to you all about is having a diversified portfolio. So yes, you have your real estate. Yes, you have your stocks. Yes, you have your bonds. You have all of these things. But I am telling you that this chief investment strategist, his name is Michael Hartnett, Hartnett, just in case you want to Google it. Michael Hartnett explained that we are going into a recession, and he is sure that cryptocurrencies will outperform bonds and stocks. Ladies, this is huge. Gentlemen, this is huge. Children, this is huge. Whoever is listening, whatever pronoun you identify with, this is huge. because we have got to get a handle and understand that we are in a time that we have never, ever, ever witnessed or even been able to be a part of. It says B of A strategist notes inflation shock is worsening. Cryptocurrencies could outperform bonds and stocks. Bank of America chief investment strategy has warned the U.S. economy could feel some economic shock. In recent times, inflation in the United States has run rampant, and the Feds has felt the need to step in and manage the issue. On March 16th, the U.S. Federal Reserve raised the benchmark bank rate for the first time since 2018, and the central bank expects 6 more increases this year. Ladies and gentlemen, 6 more increases this year. So you think gas is high right now. You think food is high right now. 6 more increases this year. Meanwhile, on April 8th, Reuters, which I take a look at quite often, reports that B of A's Marco Hartnett said that macroeconomic situations are worsening. Everyone is understanding that these feds hiking the rates is really going to hurt our economy. But you know who it hurts the most? It's our community on the wall, ladies and gentlemen. And if everyone, and typically this would be against what his company would want him to come out and say, because they're deeply involved in the stock and bond market. But for him to come out and say cryptocurrency is going to outperform the things that his company is selling, that ought to give you some idea that something is on the horizon. So with that, I am going to ask you all to stay tuned, because when we come forward, I am going to share with you something that someone said about Warren Buffett at the Crypto 2022 conference, and help you understand and put this into the proper perspective why it is that they're trying to keep this away from us, so that we're not the ones that are benefiting the most from this new digital revolution. This is KBLA Talk 1580. All right, and we are here. I just wanted to share some really important information that came out of the Bitcoin 2022 conference. And again, if you all have never been, which I know most of you haven't, I am praying that next year we can all together travel to go to Bitcoin 2023, because it is important that you see what we're seeing at this conference, or what we saw at this conference. But there's a gentleman by the name of Peter Thiel, and he called Warren Buffett yesterday a sociopathic grandpa from Omaha and Bitcoin's #1 enemy. And you know, Warren Buffett has been very, very vocal about his not liking Bitcoin, and that it's a scam, etc., etc. And those of us holding Bitcoin are going to be going nowhere fast. And so Peter Thiel basically on stage broke down the difference between fiat money and cryptocurrency. And he made a huge statement that said Bitcoin will never be controlled by the government, unlike woke companies. And he really alluded to the fact that even though he owns one of the biggest cryptocurrency not cryptocurrency companies, just regular companies, that the government has a whole lot of say-so as to how these companies are ran. And so he was, just alluding to it by saying that way. But Thiel's comment in Bitcoin 2020 conference was huge, because what he did was he took a wad of $100 bills and threw it to somebody in the first row to just kind of make his point that money was just something that soon is going to be just thrown around. And he said that even being a stock, you effectively are being something that the government really has linked themselves to your company. And he said these companies need to wake up, because they are quasi-controlled by the government, and the way that Bitcoin will never be. And so, again, no matter what these companies try to do, they're beholding to those individuals that hold sanctions and different things over their head. This gentleman is a tech investor. He was one of the ones that he invested in Facebook very early on. And he was saying that in 1999, he told people that everyone in the middle class and in developing worlds would eventually have an internet enabled cell phone, and everybody thought it was impossible. And so, what he's telling us now is that everything we know about money is going to change, and we're all going to be using cryptocurrency. And he argues that Bitcoin is the solution to all the things that are out there in this world. And I've said that over and over. And sometimes it takes for you to hear from a billionaire and not a hundredaire, just like just making a joke. But maybe it takes for you to listen to some of these people that have made massive amounts of money. This gentleman is a co-founder of PayPal. His entire business is built around regular money, regular fiat. And he is telling you from the stage at Bitcoin 2022 that money is changing and that cryptocurrency is the way of the future. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how many trains, planes, and buses God has to send to rescue us, for us to really understand what is happening here, because money is changing. He also went further to make sure that we're clear that Bitcoin is not in competition with Ethereum. So I'm going to say that again, because a lot of people in our community are like, well, I might buy me some Bitcoin, but I'm going to give me some Ethereum just in case. The two are not alike. They're totally different, and we try to make that distinction, but he did that as well. It's just so many good things going on early that you're able to be exposed to, so that you can understand that what if this money changes? What if? I don't want anyone listening to me to be on the shoulda, coulda, woulda train, because all you have to do is do a little bit at a time, just dollar cost average, and just see what this thing does. And I know it's always hard to envision a future of Bitcoin, but I really believe that Bitcoin is the most honest, most effective market in the world. It is the canary, ladies and gentlemen, of the coal mine. And I am telling you that there is going to be a high record of inflation coming. And again, our community is who suffers the most, because other people have extra money that they can tap in from from their savings, from the properties, from all the things that they've been able to acquire, that to some extent, to most extents, we've been blocked out of those things. So when inflation is high, we're the ones that are suffering the most, because we're the ones that it looks like, statistically, we got about $25 to $40 in our bank accounts. Like, it's incredible to really think that we're going to continue to do these same things that we've been doing day in and day out and get a little bit further ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not going down like that. We have been doing exactly what we have been taught to do. We've been taught to go to school, get a good education, get a good job. We're going to be able to retire comfortably and live happily ever after. And for few people, that has happened. But for the vast majority of us, it has not happened. And we have got to do something different. And so I am here to tell you and reiterate to you today, through the words of the CEO of PayPal, a co-founder of PayPal, that you better get on board, because you're about to get left. He also talked about Jamie Dimon, which is the CEO of Chase, which we know, but I just shared with you that Chase has a whole cryptocurrency department. So no matter what they're saying outwardly, ladies and gentlemen, they are inside back office planning to take over and work in this cryptocurrency space. So why shouldn't you do the same thing with your family? Maybe you're outwardly saying, you know what, I don't know about this Bitcoin thing. I don't know how to get started. I don't want to get started. But maybe secretly you need to be stacking your Satoshis because just in case, this is exactly what Naja Roberts and every other person is telling you. You'll have yourself in a good place, in a good standing because you'll have stacked Satoshis. And I really hope that is the case. This is us against those individuals. And I hate to say that we're against these folks, but this is us against institutional bias. It's against us and against cryptocurrency. And it's just, we've really got to make sure that we are getting ourselves where we need to be. And I keep bringing these people up so that you can see the validity. And it's just not me talking. You can understand. And the last thing that this gentleman said that really kind of made me laugh, but it makes sense, especially for those of us that are dealing with our elderly parents or grandparents. He likened Wall Street to geriatrics and cryptocurrency to the youth. So if nothing else you hear today, understand that stocks, bonds, and all of those things that you're involved in, there's absolutely nothing wrong with them. But at this point, because money is changing, they are likened to geriatrics, and cryptocurrency is the youth. It's growing, it's coming. Everyone is beginning to understand. It's reached puberty. It's in its 13th year, and we have no idea how this thing called cryptocurrency is going to grow up and monopolize everything in and around it. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I want to make sure that you know that Bitcoin 2022 conference was absolutely incredible. There were so many good things that came out of there. Again, Serena Williams and OBJ was there, and they talked about Bitcoin. There's another gentleman that we're going to be talking about a little bit more. His name is Obi. He's running a fund, or he's one of the board members of a fund that's coming up with Jay-Z and Jack Dorsey with Cash App. This thing is getting bigger than you could ever imagine. So I hope that you are gearing up to get yourself on board. I'm going to talk about when we come forward how you can get started if you haven't already. This is KBLA Talk 1580. You know, I was just sitting here and smiling because my husband and I encountered a security guard in Miami. And I just got to share something that he said. It was really hilarious because there's estimated 25,000 people on the streets of Miami, and they're in what's called Overtown. So just basically equivalent to Watts back in the days, but this is Overtown. So you got all these other folks walking through Miami-Dade County in Overtown. And the security guard was there at the Lyric Theater, and we asked him what was going on inside. And he told us that all these people had paid $100 to learn about Bitcoin. Now, he has no idea that the tickets to the real event, at the big convention center, were $2,500, $1,000. Some people paid $15,000 to get in the door. Those were called the well passes. But this security guard said, I don't understand why anybody gonna pay $100 to learn about some Bitcoin. They acting like some fools because all they gotta do is pull out their Cash App. Bitcoin is right on Cash App. And then if they don't get it right there, all they gotta do is just get on YouTube. This is just stupid. They just came up in here paying $100 for this mess. And so, you know, he didn't know who he was talking to. We just tickled. We were just smiling at him. And when we were driving off, I thought to myself, I really need to go back and get a video of him, because that's how a lot of our folks think. You know, they think that this is just something so easy that they can click open and YouTube or just open up a Cash App, and it's that simple to get started. But really understanding that our monetary system is changing. is huge and is so much bigger than looking at YouTube or opening up Cash App. So I'm glad that you all are here to get this information and that I'm able to share this information with you so that we're able to really do better for our communities. And I vowed to make sure that when I get back to Miami that I'm talking to brothers just like that one that thought that it's just so simple. You can just go to YouTube and learn about this stuff because you get a lot of misinformation on YouTube too. And I really believe that's what they love to do is miseducate our community as they has misinformed us about so many other things in the past. And so, I'm not here for that. But I am here for educating our community today, this evening, tomorrow. I'm here in Las Vegas educating a whole group of our folks that are trying to learn about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Now, keep in mind that they're here learning about different types of wealth, different types of health, all sorts of things that are moving our community forward. But I'm here to educate them on cryptocurrency. I'm excited about it. And any of these events that I can do, I am more than happy to be present and really educate our community. So that is what I'm doing today. And I'm just really excited about it. So, ladies and gentlemen, how do you get started? We're going to have you start by downloading the Black Wall Street Wallet. And what we are going to do for those of us who already have the Black Wall Street Wallet, we're going to do our daily dollar cost average when we come forward in just a few minutes. This is KBLA Talk 1580. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Naja Roberts, aka Young Harriet. And this show's name is Ahead of the Crypto Curve. And I hope that you enjoyed what you just heard today. The major message today is Bitcoin is trying to tell us that inflation is on the way. Massive inflation is on the way. And we have a hedge against that inflation, and it's called Bitcoin. It's called Satoshis, and again, Satoshis is the smallest increment of a Bitcoin. But here is what we are going to do today. In order for us to hedge against inflation, and once we get out of this recession and start to look at what our retirement looks like in the next 5 to 10 years, for those of us that are looking toward retirement and trying to figure out how does all this craziness fit into our future, you will have stacked some Satoshis because your dollar cost averaging. And as you know, I say a dollar cost average a day keeps poverty away. So what we're going to do today is live on air is buy our $6 worth of Satoshis. And we're going to do that on the Black Wall Street Wallet. Now you can do it on wherever you like. As a security guard in Miami told me, you can buy it on Cash App. But we're buying ours on Black Wall Street. Not that I don't rock with Cash App because I have that wallet as well. But what you need to do is find an exchange or a wallet that you feel comfortable with and get off zero. And if you're already stacking Satoshis, maybe because the price of Bitcoin is anticipated to fall just a tad bit, that you stack a little bit more. Again, not providing financial advice, but only what I would do or what I am doing in my household. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, when you open up the Black Wall Street Wallet, you're going to click on the purple circle in the middle that has the 2 arrows that are going back and forth. And what you're going to do from there is you're going to click on Buy Bitcoin. And you're going to get to the next screen and it goes one time, weekly, monthly, which means you can set this up and forget it. But we're doing it every day on purpose so that we can get everybody in the habit of dollar cost averaging, however you want to do it. But I'm going to do $6 a day for the next year. So you click on $6 and then you go ahead and click on continue. And it's going to tell you how many Satoshis you're buying, which is the smallest increment of a Bitcoin. 100 million Satoshis are in a Bitcoin, like 100 pennies are in a dollar. And so we're going to go ahead and click continue, and voila, you have $6 worth of Satoshis to leave for your family, to leave a legacy, to just allow to grow. So with that, we want to make sure that we are dollar cost averaging every single day. I also want to ask you, ladies and gentlemen, to please go to social media and follow me. I'm at Naja Roberts everywhere, Naja Roberts. No underscores, no periods. Follow me because I have a huge announcement. Next week, I will be in New York, and I have one of the biggest announcements in cryptocurrency history that is happening to the black and the brown community. And I'm really excited to be able to share that. So please follow me on social media. If you have any questions, you can send me an email at asknajaroberts.com. asknajaroberts@gmail.com. And I want you all to not touch that dial, because when we come forward, we will hear from the D.L. Hughley Show, and there's some incredible things that they want to share with us today. And I am super happy to be here. And ladies and gentlemen, you have listened to an episode of Ahead of the Crypto Curve, and I'm your girl Naja Roberts, aka Young Harriet, and this is KBLA Talk 1580.